Lisbon is unique. It was from here that worldwide exploration and conquest began. Magnificent architecture, elegant proportions, and a tremendous feeling of history and national pride belie the fact that this city was almost completely destroyed in 1755, when a massive earthquake accompanied by fires and an almighty tidal wave left most of Lisbon in ruins. However, today it's hard to imagine such a disaster when you find yourself in this bustling cosmopolitan city. With a population of just under 1 million, Lisbon is one of Europe's smaller capitals, but certainly one of the finest. A good way to see the city is by tram, more exotic somehow than your average bus or taxi. Accommodation in Lisbon is varied, as it is anywhere in Europe. At the top end of the market is somewhere like the Meridian, a 5-star hotel of the kind you'd find in most capital cities. Comfortable and elegant, although it could be said a little impersonal for some tastes. Eating out in Lisbon ranges from the Tavares, which is very similar to some of the grand Parisian restaurants, to the Portuguese equivalent of a beer cellar, beautifully tiled inside, where office workers and the like can come for a good, reasonably priced meal, washed down with a nice cold beer. Leave some for me. For entertainment, fado, the national music of Portugal, is hugely popular. It can be sung to express melancholy, happiness or satire and is taken very seriously, so don't talk in the middle. The Castle of St. George, which looks out over the Alfama district of Lisbon, the only part not to be destroyed in the earthquake, is well worth a visit. As is the fish market, which is fascinating, but definitely not for the squeamish. So good to eat, though. Lisbon has the longest bridge in Europe, very reminiscent of the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. Understandably, Lisbon has many reminders of its exploring history and a host of stunningly beautiful buildings. Not to mention the occasional peaceful haven. There's also a fascinating coach museum housing the oldest coach in the world. But leaving aside architecture, history and food for a moment, what about the shops? Portugal is famous for its filigree jewellery. Lace is another of Portugal's indigenous crafts, but it was much more expensive than I expected, though if lace is your thing, you're in for a treat. But the one clear memory of Lisbon was of the painted tiles. They are everywhere. You can still find antique tiles, but you need a license to export. There's a huge choice of modern tiles, or you can order your own design. But if shopping in shops leaves you cold and you prefer the exciting unknown of the street market, then Lisbon is for you. Amble the hours away in an antique market, you could find the bargain of the century. But if not, who cares? You couldn't pick a nicer place to buy a white elephant.
A fact sheet produced in association with Thomas Cook